What's up, y'all? What's going on? God bless each and every one of y'all. Check this out, right? So I put this little thing together, right? Because, like I said, I'm not a holy roller. I'm not a preacher. I ain't none of that. But I'm a real dude who does real things, you know? And one of the things that I learned in life is each one teach one in order to reach one, right? So, you know, God taught me in a locked up cell by myself through my own sufferings, fighting my own demons, to come to face with the reality that the life I was living was no good. The only thing that was coming to me was death for sure, or prison for life. Prison for life. These are facts. Or hospital, or disease, or something. You know, and let me tell you something. I was out there since I was 13, man, running around, getting high, pounding them streets, you know. And through the grace of God, it only could be God that I don't have AIDS, I don't have none of that, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm blessed. I've been homeless. I've been all that, man. You know? And I've been blessed, you know? And the only thing I got is diabetes, you know, high blood pressure, the things that come through old age, you know, bad knees, you know, all these things, you know, health, you know, it's just, you know, a little something like that, but you know, as long as we eat right, stay right, we're going to get right. So check me out, right? So today I want to talk about, man, evil spirits. I want to talk about evil spirits because there's a lot of evil spirits. God talks about Lucifer fell from heaven and he is the prince of the air. Of the air. He enters through your ears, through your nostrils. Yeah, it's in the Bible. Okay? And he sends his dominions to take over your soul. For real. So, I'm going to tell you something, right? The Bible often speaks about Jesus casting out spirits, bro. Casting out spirits. The Bible describes Jesus as delivering people from controlled by evil spirits. The person is the one described as being freed, while the evil spirit is the one being cast out. For real. You know what I mean? And you can check all that out. You can go you can go to Mark 121 to 128. Let's just go real quick so I ain't gonna go through all of them, but I'll go through one real quick. Matthew, what is it? Matthew 8. Alright. Right? You know, because listen, this is the only companion I had. And the Bible is the greatest book ever written in history. In history. Okay? And I read this thing front to back to front, and I realized that it's a Bible. This is how to walk through life, to see how life went through the ages, you know, and when Jesus came to save us, you know, he died for our sins, and he really truly died for our sins. So check me out, right? We're gonna go to 8:28, right? And I'm gonna show you real quick that it says Jesus heals 2 men controlled by demons. He healed 2 men controlled by demons. Okay. 2 men controlled by demons met him. They came from the tombs. The men were so wild that no one could pass that way. Son of God, what do you want with us? They shouted. Have you come here to punish us before the time of our judgment? Remember yesterday I told you they're going to be judged? Everybody's going to be judged? Okay. You came together before our judgment? They shouted. Not very far away, a large herd of pigs were feeding. The demons begged Jesus, if you drive us out, send us into the herds of pigs. Send us into the herds of pigs. Jesus said to them, go. So the demons came out of the men and went into the pigs. The whole herd rushed down the street bank. They ran into the lake and drowned in the water. Okay? So he casted demons out from people that were blind, people that were mute. That was a demon controlling them. It was a demon controlling them. Right? So I'm going to tell you a quick story that happened to me. And you can take it, you can leave it, but this is the straight up truth and facts. As a young kid, I started getting in trouble in the hood and stuff. And, you know, I chased this dude with the gun, you know, and I got arrested. And so my mom bailed me out with my stepdad or whatever, boom. So I had a brother, rest his soul, rest his, you know, his spirit, rest, you know, wherever he may be. And he lived in Connecticut. His name was Freddie Figueroa. They called him Kenebo. And he lived in Hartford, right there on Park Street in Zion. And as a kid, he told my mom, oh, mándamelo para acá, que yo lo enderezo. I'll straighten him out. Mándamelo para acá. At that time, supposedly he was doing real good. You know, he had his wife, Jolie. Everything was going real good for him, right? Supposedly, right? Mommy sent me with 600 pesos food stamps, $600 in food stamps, and like $300 in cash. So she put me on the train to Connecticut. Now, I was supposed to get off in Hartford, and I wound up getting off in New Haven. So I'm young and lost, and I'm like, yo, what the fuck, where I'm at? So I called my brother. He's like, oh, my God, bro, you got 2 hours. You got out 2 hours before. Anyway, so he goes, stay right there. We'll come pick you up. Him and his homeboy come in a badass Buick, right? And, you know, the only thing I was doing back then was smoking weed and drinking beer, a little bit, you know what I mean? And he comes, and I meet him for the first time. Well, you know, I met him when I was young, and then he went on his own, whatever, back to Puerto Rico, whatever, with his grandparents or whatever. Anyway, and he came to pick me up. So, you know, I eager to see my brother and, you know, hug him and everything like that. And, you know, he was my bigger brother. He used to box. He was like, you know, he had a couple professional bouts. He had one with Marlon Starling, and he beat Marlon Starling in Hartford, Connecticut. So anyway, so he got hooked into drugs. He got hooked into, you know, intravenously shooting up coke and, you know, shooting up heroin, speedballing, you know. He was a straight tecato, you know, Indio. They used to call him Indio Kenepo. Right there on Park and, you know, with the Park Street Posse, the Ghetto Brothers. He was out there with all of them out there. Shadow Oak Terrace, you know, Park Street, you know, and so I get in the car and everything. They start driving, we talking, and my brother tells me, "Hey, you got some cash on you?" Yeah, I'm young. You know. I said, yeah, mami, give me this, you know. He, oh, préstame, dame acá 100 pesos. Give me $100. I'll get you back at the house. Me innocent said, hey, yeah, baby. Mommy told me to give it to Jolie, you know, to his wife, right? So he said, oh, ¿cuánto tienes ahí? Dame acá. Oh, I said, yeah, toma, mami. Man, let me tell you something. From New Haven to Hartford, it was a spot in every spot he stopped in, shooting up cocaine. Me, a scared young dude, in all these projects, and he's shooting behind dumpsters with his buddy, and they're coming out all paranoid and freaking out, and this, that. I'm like, yo, what the hell? And he'll come in, and he'll start looking around and start tripping, you know what I mean? And I'm like, yo, what's going on? He goes, está bien, estate quieto. You know, and I'm like, yo, what's going on, man? You know, I was devastated, you know what I mean? So we finally make it to his wife's house, to their place. And Jolie was, oh, she grabbed me like she's to see me safe. When she saw the conditions he was in, she already knew. This nigga. This motherfucker here. So she already knew. She goes, tu mamá te mandó dinero conmigo. Hace sí, pero yo se lo di a Free. Chico, eso es cabrón. You know, they went and arguing, beef, whatever. But I was just like shocked of what was to see my big brother that I was eager to come see and stay with in these conditions. And I wasn't no snitch and I wasn't no rat, nothing like that. So I wasn't going to go tell mommy, mira. You know what I'm saying? Because since I was young, they told me, no, mira, lo que se ve no se habla. So anyway, and my brother, as the time went on, I got a job at McDonald's out there, you know, and I was, you know, working and doing my thing, saving my money. And he used to hit me off for money. I got 30, 40, you know. I already got used to him, you know, beating me. You know what I mean? But I gave it to him because I love the nigga. You know what I'm saying? You know, he was my big brother, even though I didn't know him like that. But he was blood, right? So one day he was real sick. Real sick, and we thought he was sick from the heroin, the withdrawals. And he was like, yo, I need to fix him. So I went with him, and I gave him $20 or whatever, and he kneeled down to shoot his vein. And when he kneeled down to shoot his vein, diarrhea came all out his ass. I'm talking about just came out, like with no control. Out of his ass. This nigga was like, yo, what the fuck is going on? ¿Qué me está pasando? This and that. So after he got his fix, we went home. That nigga wiped his ass in the bushes with all kind of shit, man. Cartón, all kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? We wind up walking up to the block to his house, and you know he got showered and cleaned up and all that. And he told his wife how he was feeling. She left work. We took him to the hospital. And he was diagnosed with full-blown AIDS. This was like 85. And they didn't know what was what and what was going on. They were saying that thing was coming from Africans, from monkeys, and this and that. And, you know, all this kind of stuff, you know. And what happened was he used to shoot up with all his buddies intravenously. You know what I mean? And that's how he caught it. Passing the needle, you know. So, you know, when he got sick, I came back to New York, right? And shortly there, I started running with my homeboys, and bam, I get knocked. I go to prison. My brother's now in the hospital. And, you know, my mom, my sisters are going back and forth to see him, you know. He's in the hospital, to take care of him, they take turns, right? And then, you know, this is something that tore my mom up, you know what I mean? Because the relationship was indifferent, you know what I mean? I want to cry because I know how she felt. You know, like she didn't make her peace with him. And so anyway, she had to bury her son. But here's the story, right? I'm in Rikers Island. I'm in the box, and I'm withdrawing from methadone. I'm withdrawing from methadone because I came in, I got back from New York, and I met a chick, and I got, you know, started getting high with her, and then she, you know, had an idea, let's go to the methadone program, and I started going to the methadone program for almost 3-4 months, and I go to Rikers Island, and I'm withdrawing. And I was young, I was still a juvenile, 16 years old, the motherfuckers threw me in a cell. Butt ass naked. And officers looked at me, this white big officer, I'll never forget him. He had a tiger in his arm, like a big tiger with the bushes in his arm, and like bamboos, and then he had like ninja, like the ninja swords, you know, like in between like the tiger. It was real badass tattoo, a big ass 6 foot something, man. And I was like, yo, please, man, please, yo, get me out of here. I gotta see the dog. He said, man, shut the fuck up and lay on that floor until you kick that shit. That shit is look what it's doing to you. Look, you know what I mean? You know, I was like, oh, motherfucker, this and that. He's like, you know what? He opened the cell and he threw me around. Pum, 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 look at you. You can't even defend yourself. You want to talk shit to me? Threw me back in the cell. Threw me back in the cell. But the thing was, I was going through withdrawals. I was going through heavy withdrawals, right? And that night, like around 1, 2, no, it was like 2 something in the morning. I see like, I wake up and I see like a humidity smoke coming at me, and it jumped in me. And I knew right then and there, something in my body, in my spirit said, I started flipping out. I'm gonna kill myself. I gotta call my mother. Man, they came and shackled me. They took me to psych. The psych said, okay, all right, we're gonna make you a phone call. I said, Mommy, Freddie died. Mommy, Freddie se murió. She goes, no. I was there today. You know, we bathed him. We took care of him. You know, he was okay. We left him. He was fine. And I said, oh, okay. She goes, go back to your cell. Don't give him no problems. You know, da. I go back to my cell. I hang out with my mother. A minute later, she gets a call from the hospital. Your son has passed away. So I'm going to tell you this, right? That evil spirits control people. And that spirit controlled my brother for many years. Okay? And he was done with him. He jumped into me and was trying to take me down with him. I'm telling you, man, because I couldn't beat this thing. I could not beat this thing. I thought that I would die an addict. I thought that this is my life. This is how I was going to die. But God said no. God said no. Let me tell you about the day that I got arrested. I was rescued. I wasn't arrested. The night before, I'm in the hotel with cocaine spread. The same drug that my brother did. I never did that. But I wind up doing that. Okay? Uncontrollably. And I'm sitting there. And I look like this to the side. And at this point, I haven't slept in like 14 days, 16, 17 days. Balbú, entecateado con la misma ropa, con sangre en los brazos y todo, seco. Okay? And I look to the side like this. And this was in St. Petersburg, Florida. I look like this to the side. And there's a black I didn't know there were officers at that time. There was a black man and a white man. And they were standing right there. The window was right there, looking into the kitchen. In the backyard, they were standing there looking at me. And I just did the cocaine shot and they were looking at me. And they just went like this, shake their head like this. And then they just walked away. I was like, I started freaking the fuck out. I spazzed out and started freaking out. I called my co-defendant, yo, man, papi, yo vi gente aquí. He's like, yo, bro, when was the last time you slept? I said, papi, you know I haven't slept. He's like, yo, bro, you're hallucinating. You're hallucinating. Go ahead and break. Yo, the next morning, he had the key to my hotel. You know, he had the key to my hotel. He went to his wife's house. And he had the key to my hotel. And he comes, I'm sleeping. Let me backtrack. So at that moment right there, I said, man, hold on, man. I said, yo, I know I ain't crazy. I just saw what I saw. So I grabbed all the drugs from the table. I took them to the bathroom. I threw them in the flushed them. The needles, I broke them. Se me petaron alguna en la mano, but I flushed them. Bro, and I just was pacing. I got so tired of pacing. I laid down. I started praying to God. I said, God, please, why? Look at me. I'm your son. Look at my arms. Look at me. I haven't done anything wrong in life. Why? I try hard. Why? Why you let me go like this, man? Please help me, eh? Please help me, Lord. Look at me. I'm your son too. I lay down from tired of crying and pacing. The next morning, my co-defendant comes in. Yo, coño, bro, you was right, bro. I came out, bro. They were standing outside. I said, oh, How long haven't you slept? You're hallucinating. You know? He's like, yo, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, the thing is that we went on a mission and we committed another crime. And behind us was 17 officers following us from St. Pete to Sarasota, Manatee County. And they grabbed us committing a burglary on the beach, $1 million home house, okay? The moral of the story is this, that when I got arrested, I said, thank you, God. I said, thank you, because he stopped me. He stopped me from dying. He stopped me from beating myself up. He stopped me from just hurting people, destroying people's lives and their homes, their house, and the shit that I was living on and how I was living. They offered me 2 years, 27 months. I didn't take it. They offered me 3 years. I didn't take it. They offered me 5 years on a plea deal to snitch on my co-defendant. I didn't take it. I went back to court. They gave me 14 years. 14 years. You know what I mean? So anyway, the thing is that those 14 years wasn't all peaches and cream either. Florida was a real, you know, it's a conservative state. Okay? A lot of racism still. Okay? And, you know, not everybody, but there was a lot of that going on over there, especially in the prison system. But at the end of the day, I was still doing what I wanted to do. Fuck, I got with them manitos, ya tú sabes, ya putting down, metiendo pie, ya tú sabes, corriendo el campamento, primera, segunda, all this and all that. Drama. Caja. You know what? In our nation, right, it says to serve the Almighty. We serve the Almighty King of Kings. That's why we are the Latin Kings, because we were created and in a church through the Black Panthers, Chicago. You understand what I'm saying? But still, further than that, we serve Christ. We serve Yahweh, the Almighty Yahweh. Why are none of us in church? We wasn't in churches. Why wasn't we really doing what we were supposed to be doing? Why wasn't we taking care of our family? Instead, we were shooting each other up, cutting each other up. Look at how to, you know, get this one on fire, get that one on fire, instead of uplifting each other. You know what I mean? And it gave us a bad name. You know, a lot of brothers, good brothers that didn't have a chance, got killed. Some brothers got with the RICO Act. You know, I must not say more. But still, the truth of the matter is that why aren't we or wasn't we doing the things that we are supposed to be doing as it is spoken in our manifest? Right? No, because we do what we want to do. We do what we do, or we do what we don't want to do, but we do the things that we want to do, those things that we don't do. Like I said yesterday, then it must be something inside of me that does it. Yeah, it's that evil spirit. So as soon as you recognize that, and you start, I got moquitos falling down, 'cause I was crying here for a minute, but listen, that I want to let you know, and I'm going to prove that to you right now. Check me out, right? Because I really want my people to know. Let me ask you something, man. Vamos a hablar correcto allá. I'm going to talk facts, okay? See, in your block or any time where I don't care if you're from Puerto Rico, from Mexico, from Venezuela, Chile, wherever the hell you're from, or you could be black, white, Chinese, green, blue. I'm talking facts now. Back in the days, if you had a dude that was funny, ay, como están, right, and all this bullshit, right, coming through your circle, or trying to come and speak to your clique or whatever, what would happen to that person? Right? Now we embrace those people. Those people rape kids, man. They sell kids, man. They molest little girls. This is what they do, man. You know what I mean? They make out with each other. This is against everything we stand for when we serve God. Right? For real. You know, the laws of God is the laws of God. He made man and woman for each other. He didn't make man for man and then woman for woman. They'll never produce. They'll never multiply no matter how hard you try. And that's facts. That's facts. So if God calls it an abomination, then you know that's what it is. But anyway, the thing was that day when I got arrested, I was rescued. I was rescued. And you know what? Los cantazos que cogí en la prisión, dando vueltas, metiendo pie, tú sabes, haciéndome el mejor o el más grande de toda esa pendeja, que yo soy de Nueva York, this and that. Let me tell you about a guy named Chief. Alright? Kyle Hines. That's my dog now. That's my brother right there. You know, one day me and him are sitting down having a real deep conversation. And he tells me, yo, quick, man. Damn, bro. You know, I called New York, man. I was asking around about you. You know what I mean? You know, this is, well, a little bit while back, you know. And he goes, man, bro, they told me you was a really good brother, man. You know, that this, that, and the third, bro. But you know, been a letdown through addiction. You know what I mean? That that you come out, and then you go back to the streets. You come out, you go back to the drugs. So, you know, then you go into hiding, you know, on your own missions and this and that. So, you know, you leave the nation behind. Yeah, well, I left the nation behind. Tell you why? Because I was ashamed. I was ashamed of brothers seeing me like that. You know what I mean? So if I'm ashamed, I'm giving you the same respect. I love the nation so much that I'm showing you respect that I ain't gonna come around you like that so you can see your brother falling like that. You understand what I'm saying? When I see you, I want to see you in good times. In hard times, but not those kind of hard times. Because a weak king has no place in this nation. And if you falling like that, then you weak. But my job is to uplift you, not judge you. Especially if I walk through that. Alright, so the brother Chief tells me, yo, quick, man, damn, man. Man, your name is known, man. You got a good name, bro. You came from, you know, from the 80s over there, man. You know what I'm saying? What you gonna do, man? You gonna go out there and disappoint your family again? You gonna disappoint them again, bro? And just be a nobody? Just be a bum? That's how you wanna die? That brother spoke to me so serious that day, that night. I said, you know what, Chief, bro? I said, man, I'm gonna stop, bro. He's like, yeah, all right. He go, hey, listen, I just tell you for you, bro, and this and that. But man, you ain't. I stopped. I stopped, but you know what made me stop, though? It was because I was tired. And so, even though I got those asshole full of times because I was being stubborn in my own ways, and God said, no quiero que bam, aguanta. So, it took me 14, 20, some 30 years to walk into the addiction and lifestyle that I was at the time that I got arrested. Then it had to take the same time to bring me back to my realities, you know what I mean? I had to play the tape of my life, man. I had to play and find out where the hell, and then that's when I came down to it, that's where it happened. And I recognized it, and I said, hold on, man. Ever since this happened, so I started searching for real, soul searching within myself because I was tired. I told you when I got arrested, I was like, thank you, God. Porque podía descansar. I was living in mayhem, bro. I was sending my spirit into turmoil. I was living to die, man. I was, like I said, man, I was just a scoundrel, man. All about me. You know, I ain't thinking about nobody else. That addiction had me so deep and trapped. But God gave me some time. And I took that time. And even though, like I said, I got clean, me hice el mejor. Me puse aquí, ¿Entiendes? Without knowing that I started judging the same people who I was. I was that person. I said, hold on, man, espérate. My job, why am I, especially when it was good brothers that you love and that you really do time with, and you know who's what and what, you know what I mean? It used to hurt me, man, to see them get violated and shit like that, you know? So I said, man, you know, I sat back and I played the tape and I said to myself, man, la vida que yo estoy viviendo es una vida perro. Ya yo estoy cansado. Hay que hacer un cambio en mi vida. And God, you know, brought that to me. And so I picked up the Bible and he started throwing things at me. When I started reading it with good faith and looking for it for help, for guide, I'm going to tell you one of the verses that did me in and changed my life. No, I'm going to show you two, but I'm going to show you one real quick, right? Okay, Matthews real quick. Go back to that. Matthews is a good one, right? Okay. All right, let me see. 12:43, huh? Aquí está. Check it out, right? Okay, espérate. It's right here. But I want to read something real quick that jumped at me. It says, at the time, Jesus said, I praise you, Father. You are the Lord of heaven and earth. You have hidden these things from the wise and educated. But you have shown them the little children. Yes, Father, this is what you wanted. My Father has given all things to me. The Father is the one who knows the Son, and the only one who knows the Father is the Son, and those to whom the Son chose to make him known. But anyway, let me get back to the verse that I was talking about. It goes like this. What happens, this is what jumped out to me, and it took me, listen, no drug program, methadone and rehab, detoxes after detoxes, hospitals after hospitals, cantazos after cantazos didn't change me. I'm going to tell you what changed me. And ding, the light bulb went on, right? It said, you know, they say that you got to, they say, oh, he hasn't hit rock bottom. He hasn't hit rock bottom. I was hit rock bottom. I was rock bottom. But you know what? I was already in a bed. I was laying. I was in confinement and everything like that. But God chooses the most craziest time to enlighten you. And this is how he enlightened me. And it hit me in my heart. What happens when an evil spirit comes out of a man? It goes through dry areas looking for a place to rest. But it doesn't find it. Then it says, I will return to the house that I left. When it arrives there, it finds the house is empty. The house has been swept clean and put in order. Then the evil spirit goes and takes with it 7 other spirits more evil than him. They go in and they live there. And the person becomes worse off than before. That is how it will be with the evil people in those days. Let me tell you something. That evil spirit needed somewhere else to thrive. And it flowed all the way from Connecticut and came and jumped in me, in my innocence, in my young, you know, I was like, I think 15, 16, I was 16. I was 16 years old, and it jumped into me, and it took over my body, man. It fed and destroyed. That's what they do. All right? But God removed it from me. I prayed, and I got on my knee, and I cried, and I said, Lord, please, I don't never want to hurt like this. Man, let me tell you something. One day I just woke up and I felt like an armor, like 20, 30, 40 pounds was taken off my body and my shoulders and everything like that. Because, you know, all of that. Listen, and when I read that, I said, Oh shit, that evil spirit that left my brother came and jumped me that day when it came. It was a moist heart, like a dry cell, when it came and it was cool and it came and it jumped in me. Straight up. And I could tell you, in the Bible, Jesus came to remove spirits, cast out demons. And I can show you and show you and show you verse after verse after verse. So what I'm trying to tell you is that there's people walking in this earth with demons, with evil spirits in their soul. Okay? Like that dude Bad Bunny. Okay? That dude sold his soul. Believe it or not, there's a lot of people that sold their souls. And I'm sorry to say, there's a lot of them that we love. That have passed away, that he came collecting their souls. He gave them their fame, fortune. Let me tell you something. The Bible also tells you, do not worship idols. Don't worship idols. Bad Bunny, Taylor Swift, Beyonce, Jake, those are idols. Those are idols that people love, the glam or the bling bling, the shine, everything that's shining gold. Remember that. Everything that glitters ain't always what it is. These people, you saw what P. Diddy had going on. He had a fest of demons lusting and grabbing, putting this bullshit lotion on them and freaking off while he's taping off. And America, my gente, mi people, mis hermanitos, mis hermanitas. Dude, that's the life that you apoya. Is that the life that we're going to continue to live? Selling drugs and doing that and killing each other and hurting each other? Nah, I think we should start lifting each other. Start looking for that peace, that golden age like Donald Trump says, I got to bring it there because it's so, conservatism is so aligned with our manifesto that it's fucking scary. It's scary. We're conservative people. Look at all those Latinos. Marco Rubio, Paulina, Ana Paulina, Luna. You got the Cubano in Texas. You know who I'm talking about. You got so many people trying to lead the way, and fight and trying to make things happen. All right, but let me tell you something. Si tú eres Latino in any which form, or fashion, your family taught you about Jesus Christ. Your family told you about Espíritu de Dios. You know about God. Okay, so if that's the life that you choose, people that pedophile kids, people that transport kids, people that want to sell drugs to kill people for their profit, because let me tell you something, even we did that. We was killing our own people in our own community for profit in prisons. But yet the one bringing it in, opening his asshole bomb like a suitcase, he's the one respect because he's bringing in phones, dope, and this and that. Y el que está ahí hustling, vendiendo, y he winds up getting into addiction. Le están buscando la violación. Pero la primera vez que hay una misión, ¿a quién busca? El tipo que está gateado, right? Y ese es el que pone la misión y hace los cojones y pone respeto. Y los tipos esos que se hacen los guapos off of his strength, for what he did, man. Start doing things for your family, for your wife, your kids. Because that's what being a king is really about. Those are your princes. Those are your princesses. Those are the ones that you don't want drugs to take down like they took us down. To kill each other like we killed each other in those streets. I don't care if you blood, crib, whatever, man. Listen, man. We're all disciples of God. That's why we call tribes, man. We're tribes, man. And it's time to come to realization that the way that we're living is not right. It's not right. It's not right. So, I just want to let you know, man, that the spiritual thing is real. Like I said, I love God, I love Jesus Christ and everything. I don't go to no church, but you know what? The church is the temple, your house. This is your house. This is the temple of God. I'm going to show you real quick before I take off. Right? Because some people need to know. You know what I'm saying? So it goes like this. A person may build, it goes, God has given me the grace and the foundation. Remember I told you life is a gift, precious. God has given me the grace to lay a foundation as a master builder. A master builder. You're the builder of your foundation, of your walk of life. You build your path. Right? A master builder. Now someone else is building on it. He gave you that so that you could build on yourself, but somebody else is building on your life, in your temple. Spirit, the evil spirit. Okay, check me out, man. Check me out, dog. Then one can lay another foundation than the one that has already been laid. That foundation is Christ. Can't nobody come and try to build in your house when God's already in your house. You know what I'm saying? Can't nobody be allowed to build in your house because he's in your house. So guess what? You tell that evil spirit, back up. I'm rolling with Christ. So check me out, right? This thing is beautiful. A person, right, so it goes. On Judgment Day, it will be brought to light. It will be put. On Judgment Day, it will be brought to light. It will be put through fire. The fire will test how good everyone's work is. If the build is good, everyone's work. Hold on, I gotta get my glasses here, cause I hate speaking like that. Okay. A person may build on it using gold, silver, jewels, wood, hay, or straw, but each person's work will be shown for what it is. In other words, how you walk life, that's how you will be judged, by your acts, right? Let me break it down. On Judgment Day, it will be brought to light. It will be put through fire. That fire will test how good everyone's work is. If the building doesn't burn up, God will give the builder a reward for his work. If the building burns up, the builder will lose everything. The builder will be saved, but only like one escaping through flames. Don't you know that you yourself are God's temple? Don't you know that you yourself are God's temple? God's spirit lives inside of you, man. He lives inside of you. So that's why that other one that's trying to build inside of you and try to take control of your life, back it up. Back it up, because you have that power. I didn't know I had that power because I didn't know I was weak. He had me trapped. I didn't know. You know what I mean? But now I know. So I'm letting you know. So check me out, right? Don't you know that yourself is God's temple? God's spirit lives in you. If anyone destroys God's temple, God will destroy him. God's temple is holy, and you are that temple. Man, listen, man, you out there and you listen to me and you causing harm to your temple of God, your spirit is God inside you. And if you're putting something in yourself, and if you're doing something to put it into turmoil, or, you're putting evil thoughts and you're doing evil things, man, you're destroying the temple of God. And guess what? He's coming for that. He's coming for that. So you better start changing your life, because this is real talk. This is real things. You know what I mean? Spiritual things. You ever talking about? Man, listen, I'm so deep right now. Listen, man. Man, listen. Let me show you. I'm gonna tell you how deep this shit goes, man. See, I still curse. I'm asking God to, please help me change that about me. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of things I'm asking Him to change. But you know what? The greatest thing was He freed me from addiction. But check me out, right? Check it out, y'all. Let me put my glasses back on, because it's getting real serious here. You were taught not to live the way you used to. You must get rid of your old way of life. That's because it is polluted by longing for things that lead you down the wrong path. You are taught to be made new in your thinking. You were taught to start living a new life. It is created to be truly good and holy, just as God is. Just as God is. But check me out, right? I want to take you right here. Finally, God's armor. If you're a king, a queen, or a human being that wants change in your life and is looking for the strength of the Almighty, I don't care what you call him, but that spiritual being that changes things, check me out. Put on God's armor. Finally, let the Lord make you strong. Depend on his mighty power. Put on all of God's armor. Then you can stand firm against the devil's evil plans. Our fight is not against human beings. Our fight is not against human beings, Papi. It is against the rulers, the authorities, and the powers of a dark world. It is against spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly world. Papi, put on the armor of God, because you're fighting things that we don't know. There's spirits out there. There's a spiritual world that we can't see that's fighting for your soul. But you got the free will to choose. You know what I mean? And my free will was so arrested by addiction that I couldn't get out until God enlightened me. Because I seek, I search, and I find. But see, the Bible tells you, right? It tells you, those that seek, truly seek, I will open your eyes. But you must come humbly, able to be taught. Listen to the master in silence. God bless. Silence is golden. God bless. God bless each and every one of y'all. And I just want to let y'all know that God is working in me, man. And I hope he comes working in you and he changes you and everybody out there in our world. Because, Papi, you see the thing that's going on, man. Papi, they're trafficking women, trafficking kids. They're fighting. Let me ask you something. When did the Democratic Party ever fight for our brothers and sisters in prisons? To make their time shorter, better, for programs, for real programs, for them to get real parole, and to to really reform themselves, take a trade, nothing. No. Go in there and lay down and we're going to use you as a cash cow. You know what I mean? Send you back out to the streets and you'll be back. You know what I'm saying? But Trump trying to change that. He's trying to make trade schools and prisons, stuff like that, so that you can come out and be productive member of society, take care of your family. You don't have to go to these streets no more. But you gotta want it within yourself. You gotta want that for yourself. There's a lot of brothers out there that still that they go to those colleges and burning flags and standing against everything that we do. Standing for Antifa, for all these crazy things. I'm not like, yo, manito, you went to that? You got, oh yeah, manito, but no, I'm conservative. I take care of my family. I'm a home man. I want peace in my life. I want peace in my house. I love my family. When I went to prison and when all the addictions took all that from me. All that from me. My juventud, everything. Ahora después de viejo. But you know what? My son's a grown man now. My wife raised him from childhood to manhood now. Now it's my turn to show him the path of what's being a man all about. You know what I mean? Show your kids, man. Save your kids from harm, danger, out in your community. Show them better. Play sports. Take them out. Protect them from these evil people that hurt them, rape them, smack them. You know what I mean? Because that's our job. We help those that help themselves, and we help the weak, the ones that can't help themselves. All right? We don't manipulate it. Try to, like some of these brothers have done through the years, man. It's time for real change, man. God bless, man. Each and every one of y'all. Y amor. Y amor a todo el mundo. Ya tú sabes. De corazón.